What is going on in Houston? The Dash don't necessarily have the best reputation in the league, and Maria Sanchez's departure in April has only exacerbated that reputation. 2 seasons ago, the Dash made it to the playoffs, whereas last season they fell flat, and this season doesn't seem like it will be much better. Currently, as of this writing, the Dash sit in 12th after 10 matches, only securing 9 points. They have won 2 matches and gotten 3 draws, but they've lost 5 matches. They're the second lowest for goals scored at 8. Only Utah has less at 6. And Utah's the youngest squad in the league with a brand new coach. So even with Jane Campbell's heroics, the 2023 Goalkeeper of the Year can't do all of the defensive work alone. Houston has allowed in 17 goals in their 10 matches. Let's take a look at what could be the problem in Houston. Coaches, this has been a problem for Houston. There's been quite a bit of turnover for Houston with their coaching staff and with a fair dose of scandal mixed in. In December 2018, the Dash appointed James Clarkson as head coach. After recommendations from the National Women's Soccer League Players Association, Clarkson was suspended as part of the findings from the Yates report. Of note, while Clarkson was suspended, the club never officially fired him, choosing to instead allow his contract to expire. Then, in April 2022, Sarah Loudon stepped into the role of interim coach while the club searched for a replacement. Finally, July 2022, Juan Carlos Amoros took over as interim head coach, having formerly coached at Real Betis and Tottenham. Juan Carlos took the Dash to their first playoffs in club history and their highest regular season finish, landing at 4th. At the end of the 2022 season, Juan Carlos departed Houston, only to land in New York, New Jersey with a 3-year contract. Some may wonder why Houston let him get away. Then, in December 2022, the Dash hired Sam Leahy as the permanent head coach. Leahy didn't last a full season, being removed in September 2023. In the 24 matches under Leahy, he only had 6 wins, 8 draws, and 10 losses. He left with a win percentage of only 25%. Then, September 2023, in a replay of 2022, Sarah Loudon again steps in as interim coach and finishes out the season. This past December, Francisco "Fran" Alonso becomes the head coach. Fran coached Celtic FC, winning 3 trophies in his 4 seasons there. In addition to all of this, the goalkeeper coach, Matt Lampson, was fired from the Dash for allegations that he crossed professional boundaries with the Dash player. He is suspended from the NWSL until after the conclusion of the 2024 season due to violating the anti-fraternization policy. The Houston Dynamo and Dash ownership group appointed their first general manager for the Dash in late 2023. They appointed Alex Singer, a former U.S. soccer player. One of the former players' first big decision was Maria Sanchez's record-breaking contract. This decision may define Singer's tenure as general manager if the club's season isn't turned around soon. We'll talk about Sanchez's contract next. Maria Sanchez signed a record-breaking deal, at the time, in December 2023, only to leave the club early in the 2024 season, departing for San Diego Wave. That contract was for $1.5 million for 3 years. The move to San Diego was at the request of Sanchez. According to Sanchez's social media, she made the request known to Dash management in March. Did Sanchez warrant the large contract? The Dash Reddit community, obviously very official data sourcing platform, seems torn on the topic. Some are sad to see her go. Others were sad she ever got the big contract to begin with. She ended the 2023 season with 4 goals and 4 assists. The 4 goals were tied for highest with Michelle Lozzi, and the next highest assists were 2 from Salmon and 2 from Prince. The 2022 season ended with her earning 2 goals and with 4 assists. When comparing to similar players, the large contract doesn't seem warranted. In 2023, Claire Emsley had the same total of goals and assists for 8 and 3 less matches. Alyssa Thompson was in her first season in the NWSL and nearly matched Maria Sanchez for goals and assists. Now, goals and assists are not the end-all be-all, but even looking at other variables, other players surpass Maria. She has the fewest successful take on percent at 33%, compared to the others, the lowest shot creating actions per 90 at 2.9, while Emsley led the group at 4.5. Emsley and Maria Sanchez take a lot of free kicks and corners for their squads. Maria Sanchez has 0 goal-creating actions from a dead ball, whereas Emsley has 2. Please know this was not an attempt to make Maria Sanchez the scapegoat for Houston's woes. Sanchez is talented and we're certain will do well in her career, but her contract and quick departure signaled deeper issues within the management at the club. The current stats don't support the large contract, and we would say Singer had a miss with this. In a 2021 piece by Sports Illustrated, it was noted the lack of appeal for players to come to Houston. The club often had losing seasons, the heat and the humidity, and organizational issues were all noted. As a Houston resident, I can confirm that heat and humidity are unappealing. The lack of appeal for players coming to Houston was most noticeable when Kristen Press was traded to the Dash in 2018. She made her disdain for the club known, refusing to show up for any training sessions, and instead chose to go play in the Swedish League rather than come to Houston. The significance of Press's decision to play in Sweden can't be stated enough. This was a player choosing to go out of the country in the lead-up to a World Cup year. Another issue plaguing Houston is lots of player turnover. Outside of Campbell and Sophie Schmidt, and even Rachel Daly for a while, the club often has a large portion of the roster coming and going. This makes it difficult to build chemistry and to get any rhythm going on the pitch. Only 4 regular starters have been with the club prior to the 2023 season: Campbell, Schmidt, Alozi, and Jacobs. Of all players who have started at least one match this season, 9 came to the club in 2024 and 8 arrived for the 2023 season. That means 81% of the starters this season who are still at the club have been at Houston less than 2 seasons. Besides heavy player turnover, Houston also lacks U.S. women's national team players. Campbell has been called up the last few years, rightfully so, but outside of her, they just don't bring any in or keep them. In 2019 and 2020, Houston was the only club without an allocated USA national team member. In 2021, Abby Dahlkemper, Christy Mewis, and Jane Campbell were on the roster. But after that season, Mewis left for Gotham and Dahlkemper left for San Diego. And the seasons since, 2022, 2023, and now 2024, only Jean Campbell remains. So those were our thoughts on what's going on with Houston. What do you feel are the issues with Houston? Do you feel this is a continuation of previous seasons? Or is this truly the beginning of a rebuild with a few bumps along the way? Let us know in the comments. If you like this type of content, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe for future videos. Thanks!